PROG is bullshit.
Even the tone of like your own voice puts like your emotion in that state. So without that, it's like, you know, you don't exist initially.
Yeah.
If you don't vibrate, you don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you identified?
the progressive stuff, to me anyway, is more melodic. There's more sort of energy builds. Even when you type in progressive on Beatport again,
Yeah.
yeah, progressive trance,
Yeah.
progressive house,
Yeah,
progressive
exactly.
techno, progressive disco, probably. You know, there's so much stuff there that
It's like everything is progressive.
yeah.
You know, I've had 2 progressive ones that's actually going to be released on a Hush Hush label. But I mean, look, progressive to me initially, it means like, you know, the sounds are progressing to get somewhere.
Fuck it, yeah.
Oh,
That's
no.
hilarious, mate.
But I feel like, yeah, progressive for me, like I started like loving progressive, started with progressive. And it's one of those genres that's like, you know, it's just...
So it's a genre?
It is a genre, yeah.
A prog is a genre. So we got prog house, prog, so it's like...
progressive.
It takes
Just-
beats from all the genres, and it's all prog.
That's-
Alright? So like, yeah, that's amazing. Like, so
But yeah, progressive, it's not a genre by itself, but it's like an add-on, like, you know,
to every genre.
yeah, to every genre, to keep it like, you know, interesting and more like, you know, to add more variety to it. So progressive could be, as you said, progressive indie dance, progressive rock, progressive like, you know, drum and bass, all of that. Progressive initially is like subtracting the essence of that genre and just going to different branches and like, you know, exploring in that area. Man, I would love Prog is Bullshit to be a genre.
yeah, just call it
Like,
bullshit.
oh,
yeah.
Prog is bullshit. It's like
yeah.
all the sickest tunes in there. Like you're like, what?
PROG is bullshit.
Everyone, and good evening, or wherever you are, listening or watching this podcast. This is PROG is Bullshit podcast, episode 12.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you or someone who doesn't know, this podcast is available on Spotify and on YouTube. So welcome, guys. We have 2 interesting guests. So guys, please introduce yourself. Milsey, maybe you first.
Hi everyone, I'm Milsey. I'm a music producer and DJ, and I've been doing that for like 20 years of my life. And just like in the journey of just like understanding how sounds works and like, you know, how things go together. And yeah, just exploring it.
Nice, cool.
Nigel?
Nige, I'm a DJ from back in the day. So started in '88 in the UK, travelled around the world DJing, done a little bit of music production, not much, but yeah, mainly a house and garage kind of guy. That's garage house, not
Yeah.
UK garage as it's now known. Came from the rave scene, and here I am in sunny Canberra.
Yeah.
And the sun is out.
Nice. And I am your host, Solid Professor. And thank you guys for accepting my invitation.
Thanks for
Thank you.
To come. I would like to start just talking about what you recently have been up to in your musical journeys. And we'll see where the discussion takes us. To also taking the opportunity to thank Poncho Fox Distillery. I would like to just maybe you can have a taste of it before mixing it with, because it's got quite a unique taste. It's a pomegranate flavored pink gin.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
By Poncho Fox. So
Well, let's get on and taste.
Cheers,
Cheers to you
thanks,
guys. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers to Poncho Fox and cheers to PROG.
Yum.
Tasty. Very
I like
nice.
my cup holders picture though. Kim Jong Un.
You got Donald Trump.
Did I?
Yeah.
Right, I'm
Got the same haircut as me.
By the way, there is no particular set topics in this podcast. Apart
topics
from,
will just flow. Yeah.
prog,
Yep.
Yeah. So we can talk about anything music related, but let's talk about what happened recently with you. Well, I thank you for coming and headlining our event last night.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was
That was a good night. That was a really good night.
And also, I'll take the opportunity to thank everyone who came out and had a dance and just
had a good time.
we were there.
Yeah.
There was another news, pretty much the same yesterday as well. So tell us.
Yeah, that was pretty it was when it happened I was like, my Facebook usually is really quiet, so I don't get that much notification. I don't post things a lot, and and then it was 2:30 in the morning. My phone is just going ding 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 ding, and I'm like, what's going on? Someone's must be in trouble.
Yep.
Needs help.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, I checked my phone and then I entered this competition for Alpaca Music. It's a record label in Canada.
Yep.
And the competition was to remix two of the artists that I follow and love their style, Quantaloop and Hosey Telch, if I'm not spelling the name wrong. And I was like, I'm keen to see how it goes, and then downloaded the stem, and the stem files for the remix pack was so clean. I was instant, just creativity just flowed in me, and I was like, all right, let's just see what I can do.
Yep, nice.
And I was like, I needed to try because it was Zenith a week after, and I was like, I'm gonna do a sneaky finish of that, get it prepared for Zenith. So I sort of put the sounds together, and it was pretty groovy. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to send it or not. I just wanted to do it as fun, and then I just send it. I'm like, that's for fun. Let's see what happens. I'm like, and then 2 nights ago, I saw the message that I won the competition.
Excellent.
I got ranked number 3. Yeah. I was like, fuck yeah.
But I guess the important thing to note about that is there was about 70 submissions from all sorts of producers, but some very good producers there, and it's
it was pretty tough.
It's pretty competitive.
Pretty tough for them to even decide. They had to do it twice or 3 times around, sending the tracks to different people, and then putting the votes in in certain aspects like creativity, structure, and mix and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's man, imagine having 78 tracks of the same
thing.
And I love them all.
Yeah, it would be so hard to.
But now I gotta pick 1, 2, 3. Come on. But so it was. I was pretty happy, just to be even part of that journey of remixing it. And so that happened a night before, and I was like, how good is that?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Did you play that track in your set last night?
No, actually I didn't. I sort of kept it. I played the unreleased track, which is going to be released on your label soon.
Awesome.
And
what is it called?
It's actually called Techno Diggity.
Nice.
And the name sort of just because I was listening to what's it called, the track Techno Diggity. I gotta back it up. I remember the title of it. I was listening to that and I was like, I might just play with words and use that as the track, Techno Diggity. But it's pretty deep and has a nice pitchy bass line and really groovy. So I did play that last night.
Yeah,
it went
that
really
one.
well.
Yeah,
really well.
I recognized it straight away when you played it.
Yeah.
So awesome.
PROG is bullshit.
Nigel, what about you? You always got a lot going on.
Always got a lot going on. Yes.
What are the sort of main things?
Main things are radio shows at the moment, because they sort of took over when COVID hit. Because you went from gigging pretty much every week to no gigs.
Yeah.
And so the radio shows have really sort of taken off. So I do 4 radio shows a week. 3 of them are UK based. One of them is the community radio station here that we're going to hopefully do a Salik Records takeover.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think when the first release sort of about to be
done. Yeah, we'll do a session down there.
Yeah.
Community radio is a good thing. Doesn't matter which country you come from, where you end up. If you can get involved in it, it's cool because you can pretty much play what you like.
Yeah.
Really, but you can promote a lot of local artists, a lot of local features, a lot of local nights, and that really sort of is quite an impact.
Yeah.
And then radio's kind of weird because you don't know how many people are listening until you get Instagram messages, Facebook messages, emails, and then you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
People actually listen to my show.
Yeah. The radio station is the reason, like, I actually pursued music. It was like, me and my brother in a tiny, room, we got this radio, and we were just, tuning in. We got, tuned into a Dutch channel, and it was a Dutch DJ named Armin van Buren.
Yeah,
was playing a set, and we were like, holy shit, what is this music, man? This is so cool. And we couldn't understand a single word, what he said, but he used to say Dutch, 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 blah 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 blah, and then the name of the track. I'm like, that's
English.
English. You know what I mean?
Right.
Touch the sound. I'm like, that's English.
Yeah, that's so. Like you said, 4 radio shows. Sort of what format are those radio shows?
3 of them are live shows. 2 from my studio at home, so they actually video feeds as well as audio feeds, because radio isn't radio anymore.
Yeah.
It's a visual concept as well. So basically, I turn my studio into a nightclub and have a party every Monday and Thursday night there by myself, which is cool.
What do you do? You play, or you talk about, discuss something, or
No, it's pretty much music all the way, and it's a lot of old school. I shipped out all my vinyl from the UK, so I've got all my old house, all my old rave records. I play those quite a lot on radio because it's good to sort of reminisce over the old stuff. It's also good to take aspects of older music and incorporate that in the new stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've dabbled a bit in production, released a few tracks, got that sort of old school, new school vibe going,
Yeah.
which is cool. And then obviously with that comes promotional records. Lots of record companies send you stuff, so you're playing new music as well. So it's promoting new music, promoting new artists, promoting
New
labels or old labels,
Yeah.
depending on who they are.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, it's all spreading the word so that when people do go out to the clubs and they hear some of these tracks, they go, oh,
Yeah.
I know that track.
Okay.
And then they get to know the artists, and they get to know the DJs, and then when they do turn up at different events, especially down under here, people know who they are, which is cool. And that's,
So we had a conversation earlier about that.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
That's amazing.
And a few people in Canberra don't know who they are, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but it's good for people like me who know who they are, because you can get a up close and personal session and see these guys, in action, doing the work, and you get introduced to new music as well, which is the whole idea of going out, is to hear something new, hear something different. And then technology nowadays, Shazam, for instance, how good's that? Back years and years ago at the old school raves, we'd have a pad and a pencil in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And when the DJ was playing something, and especially when you were there, you were literally writing it down. And most of it was on white labels, so you had no idea what it was.
But what do you mean? How do you write it down? When the DJ was playing.
But basically, you ask you ask the DJ, what's the name of that track, and he'll tell you, because you're obviously on stage. Obviously, when you're out there raving, you just. You think of these tunes, and then you're in the record shop the next day going, mate, you got that song that goes la 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 la.
Like what? He's like, what?
Yeah, memories.
And do you know how many people listen to your shows?
Across the 4 shows, there's something about 25,000 roughly, which listen worldwide, because they all basically go global. Even the local community radio show, you can just tune in on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing thing, as well as actually listen to it on the FM dial. But most young people don't even know what a radio is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And so to doing
That's
four
Spotify.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Podcast.
Yeah, podcasts, all those sort of things. Like where I record all my shows and I upload them to Mixcloud and SoundCloud, so they go out to all those people listening there as well.
Yeah.
And you know, it's amazing when you look at statistics on those sort of shows, the countries that people listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, Monday's show, for instance, the furthest away listener is in Ireland.
Wow.
And the nearest is in Malaysia.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
And in terms of music that you play, you said is it mainly like house? Or?
Mainly house, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's days when I'll do a trance set, I'll do a progressive house set, I'll every now and then do a drum and bass set, bit of techno,
Whatever you feel.
whatever I feel like, you know. And sometimes that's you're sort of pushed into that area depending on what promos you get that week.
Yeah.
Especially if there's I know a few times I get promos on like a Monday, which basically then kick into my show on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So you might take 2 or 3 of those and go, right, I've got an hour and a half, I can build a set around that sort of vibe, which is always good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And in terms of your own production, you said you just recently, and I know you recently released a couple of tracks.
Yeah, I've released a couple of tracks. Last year was my first release actually on In It Together Records in the UK. So it went out on their Spring Summer Collection album, which was
Nice.
pretty cool. I was excited about that. Then there was a local record label called Get Funked that released a few.
Local label here in Canberra.
No, he's Queensland.
Get
Yeah,
Funked.
based in Queensland. So Get Funked Records released a few of my tracks last year. Then I've got about 5 or 6 on the boil at the moment, trying to send them out to a few different labels and see what we can get going.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hopefully get them signed.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I usually play them on my radio show, and the beauty of radio now is there's usually chat rooms on the radio station, so you give out on the microphone obviously that this is one of my new tracks, let me know what you think, and people in the chat room can give you feedback instantly, which is
right. Okay,
super
so you
cool.
are on the microphone as well as like it's not just music.
it's not
you
it's
commenting on
me
it
as well. Yeah,
yeah.
commenting,
Okay,
saying
yeah.
you know, giving out names of tracks and stuff. I did a show only the other week, which was a 2-hour show, all exclusives, and I wasn't allowed to say what the tracks were.
Yeah.
Right.
But people could guess a few of the artists, you know,
Yeah.
if you knew what you're listening to. But that was cool, so I sort of had to sort of fill in and let people know that, you know, these are world exclusives. And
PROG is bullshit.
I mean, like, it's funny you mentioned that. I think there was this, like, not an argument, but the conversation going about, like, you know, a lot of DJs, like, you know, uploading their sets online and not, like, you know, putting the track list or anything.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to do it, like, you know, I remember, like, when I played at 2016, first time in Australia, I put some of the track list out for, like, you know, the songs. And the reason was because there was no Shazam or anything for people to figure it out.
Yep.
So I was like, just giving them, like, you know, what sort of tracks I'm using. And lately, like, you know, whatever set I play, I don't do it because I'm like, if you listen to it and you want to know what track that is, you could Shazam it. And if Shazam tells you it's released, it's released. And the other one that Shazam doesn't found, it's unreleased. So.
That's right.
Not always. Like some released tracks are just not getting picked up.
Picked up by Shazam. Oh,
Because
okay.
when I used to film my sets, they usually like would be unprepared. I just check the tracks, and at the end of the set, I had no idea what tracks I played, and then I would go through my set and use Shazam. But like a couple of sets, like sometimes there would be tracks that are just can be picked up. Like there's one set that I have that I haven't put the list as because I like most of the tracks I couldn't
find.
recognize. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, their technology is interesting because sometimes we use it at 2XX, the local radio station here in Canberra, and it tries to pick up the names of the dance music songs.
Yeah.
And I always have a laugh to myself because I can see it on the screen and it's just totally wrong. And you're like, go, where did that come from? You know, you just got no idea where it's picking it up from. And you go, okay.
Plus Shazam, like sometimes I know who's the track is, but I just want to find out what year it was or something. Shazam just picks it up wrong, or sometimes wrong tracks. Just
Especially with sampling nowadays, you can have a sound that is recognisable by Shazam, but for a different track, but you've actually done something completely different to it.
Yeah. Also, if you play it at a different BPM, Shazam might not pick it up.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technology's great. Not always accurate.
It has its limitations.
It's good. It's good that it has a limitation.
Wait for the time that when we'll build the machines that are smarter than us. And with all this AI stuff recently, it seems like in recent times we've made a lot of progress, and
it's crazy.
You were talking. We were talking about it last night. This
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. That.
I mean, I like amazing. The idea, like, that they're actually using, like, bringing people to life, like, using Michael Jackson's voice, or like, what's it called, Elvis, like, voice, and like, just doing whatever they want. Like the other day, I actually heard Johnny Cash. Sorry, I just said his name. Elvis. Elvis did a Baby Got Back version. Like in his style, and I'm like, that's cool. AI could do that. Like, he just picked his voice and it sounds like him singing, and it was like Baby Got Back in country, and I'm like, hell yeah. Like, it's cool and creative in a way to use that, but like I feel like it's just gonna take a lot of the creativity out of like going through the process of like making that particular sound, or like doing it. What I mean?
But even coming up with music ideas, you can put into Chat GPT. Give me a tech house bass line.
It
gives it to you, and you're like, whoa! And then you go in the key of B minor, and it changes that, and you're like,
it's crazy. Like, you could say like, hey, for example, Kirk Hammett, like the guitar player from Metallica, what pedal he uses, right?
Yep.
Tell me, like, what sort of setup I need to use in Ableton to get that distortion there. And it tells you, like, you gotta have this plugin, have that plugin, and then put an EQ, cut this much, do that.
Really?
It's like a second brain right there in front of you, just gives you the idea, the Kickstarter.
Damn.
Like, okay. No, let's do it.
Crazy.
Or like, if you want chord progression, you're like, can you tell me like a nice melodic chord progression that's emotional and it's sad at the same time, or like it's mysterious at the same time. And it tells you like play D, G, A, and then go like A sharp, go back to E minor. I'm like, this is crazy, man. But it's good in a way. Like I said, it just kickstarts, like generates the idea. But as long as it just doesn't take the creativity away, that's the only thing. Because I could see like it will be a lot of new things out there that just takes the creativity. Like, you could say like, I need the synthesized sound that was used in like Michael Jackson track, and it just gives you the sound, and you just put it into like in a synthesizer, and boom, it's done.
Do you think like in the future we will have like festivals where there's like no real DJs, there's just this AI sort of thing, and they're like just change the mood to this, and like but if people love the music and they dance, like,
I mean, let's face it, right? If you wanted to promote something, instead of paying someone to come and play,
that's
right. What do you choose? Like, at the end of the day, if you see that perspective, you will use that, right? But it's the presence of that person, Like, if I go see Deadmau5, it's the presence of him when I see and like check his track. I'm like, But like anyone, like, you could put a phone there and like play some music. Everything is like all and good. But when I see you there going like that, that's where I'm like, I want to be on your level, man. You know what I mean? So I don't think it can't replace that.
No, it can't see the crowd.
Yeah.
It can't see the reactions.
Yeah.
I mean, real DJs look at the crowd, and they've got their little pack of music.
Yeah.
If I was doing an hour's set, I've got 3 hours worth of music.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, it's the connection.
And you look and you change and you mix it up. You do different things, and the computer's never going to be able to see that.
Yeah.
So that human connection and interaction is never.
So the profession of DJ will never die, or
Hopefully
music
not.
producer.
PROG is bullshit.
Who knows, man? Maybe humanity goes back to roots again, because we like to go through this vicious cycle of evolving through music and then going back to the same basic idea that we had.
Yep.
We started with tribal music, just singing around in harmonies and all of that. And who knows? Maybe in the future, all technology is actually gonna go away and people are gonna use their voice, their human voice to do music.
Yeah, but in the ancient times, apparently I saw somewhere a post that. The word for music was very similar to the word for medicine.
Yeah.
In some civilizations, so they had a symbol.
Yeah, because music is vibration. We're vibration too. So the reason these two works, and it always analyzes your emotions and everything, it's because of the vibration. If you're vibing in a different tone of frequency and you listen to a different tone of frequency, that puts you in a state of calm and relaxed. That's why it works. That's why there's always music there. If there is no music, there's no sound. I don't know what you can do. You can feel the vibration, but not hearing it is just taking the fun away,
But having said that, I do a lot of work with charities and people with disabilities, and there's a lot of people who are deaf who can feel the music immensely.
Really?
And they're sometimes they're more on point dancing than people who are actually listening to the music.
Yeah, because
they can feel it, and you can see the change in everybody when you go somewhere and there's good music playing, or that there's something upbeat, or there's something that they like. They all of a sudden your whole attitude changes to
even
the day
the
you've
simplest
had.
thing, just put music aside, just your voice itself, the tone of your voice. If you're happy, when you greet someone, you can see instantly the emotion is happy. But if you look down, you're what are you looking at? In a sort of way, the vibration of that is lower key. So you're what do you want? You know what I mean? Even the tone of your own voice puts your emotion in that state. So without that, it's you don't exist initially. If you don't vibrate, you don't exist.
Yeah.
That's a good line.
So Nigel, on your shows, do you play much prog?
Every now and then, yes, I do. Bit of a bit of progressive house.
Progressive house, but what do you think difference between then house and progressive house? Are there particular features that?
Yeah,
the
the progressive stuff to me anyway is more melodic. There's more sort of energy builds, longer energy builds, and there's some really nice synth sounds, some great sort of bass lines in there. The house music always is a bit more sort of upbeat because it's come from that disco era.
In your face, sort of.
And it's the more sort of the good party stuff, and you can put your hands in the air and sing along to the vocals as well. Yeah. Wait for those cool little bits.
Yeah.
But then, having said that, you look over the years, house music, all these different subgenres, they're all sort of intertwined anyway. A lot of the time, with some of the old classic house music. You can listen to DJ Pierre track called Music, and it's just a thumping, driving sound.
Yeah.
You could drop that into a progressive house set without any problems at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll just be, everyone just go, cool.
Still progressing.
Still progressing, yeah. And it just drives and it drives and it gets you going and it sort of builds you up, and then you go, oh, I've got to build up again. And it's sort of, it's just, and I mean, I think it's about a 12-minute track.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just constant, and
Yeah.
it goes. But then you can mix that straight in with a Robert Owens house track, you know, or a Masters at Work track
Yeah.
without any dramas.
Yeah. It's like house are the, like, you know, the main actors, progressive house are the extras. In the movie. Everyone's like serving in the coffee, and like house is the like main actor, like drinking the coffee.
Really?
Yeah, sort of like, because progressive
More underground kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you look at you go to Beatport to buy something now, and there's half a
Subgenres,
page
right,
of
yeah.
subgenres, and some of them you're like going, right, what's the difference between, say, techno, driving, peak, and
Peak
something
out,
else,
peak
and
out,
then you've got techno,
Hypnotic.
raw, deep, hypnotic, melodic.
Yeah.
You're like going,
Yeah, exactly.
well, you know, and you listen to it, and you go, is it techno? I guess it's techno. Same with a lot of even when you type in progressive on Beatport again.
Yeah.
Yeah, progressive trance,
Yeah.
progressive
Yeah.
house,
Yeah,
progressive
exactly.
techno, progressive disco, probably. You know, there's so much stuff there that
It's like everything is progressive.
yeah. You know, why can't you just call everything? Yeah. It's progression because we're using something new. We've progressed from the last song.
Exactly. Well, I love this perspective. Yeah. This. I rest my case. I guess. No, I never rest my case. That's yeah. In Beatport classification is a bit like weird because like I would be listening to an album like the other day I was buying some tracks and it's an album of Maxim Dark, which is like dark minimal techno basically.
Yep.
And one of the tracks suddenly was called Progressive House. So I guess the system sometimes fucks up and there's no one that does the manual checking on
Well, I think it's the way the record labels
Yeah, I
promote
was
it. Like,
gonna say,
like
yeah.
I get a lot of promo
Right.
stuff, and it says house, and
Yeah.
you listen to it and you go, nah, that's top 40 pop. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
definitely not house.
Yeah.
Then you'll have stuff that says tech house, and you go, that's not
Yeah.
tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's a hard one for people to navigate.
Yeah,
You know,
especially like A&R, like, you know, if you're looking for tracks and like, you know, you think like that's the genre that it fits, if you don't like pinpoint that style and put it like perfectly into beatboard and all of that, you could confuse a lot of people. I have seen that, like, you know, the track is pure trance and it's like on the tech house section, I'm like, what is this doing?
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
what I mean? Out of nowhere. So it's like, yeah, you just like, yeah, when I used to do it, I used to get like people, they just put dark, the name dark in the title of track, and they thought like it's psy, and I'm like, just because you're putting dark in your title of music, that doesn't make it psy
Totally,
at
yep.
all. Like, that's
Yeah.
breakbeat you send me, it's not psytrance.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna promote it as psytrance, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, those sort of confusion happens with like, you know, bad management of like, you know, the music as a record label. So
Yeah.
But in general, I think people's perspectives on any genre are
Is diverse,
like different.
Oh,
Like,
totally. I've done events where they've asked for house music, and I go, cool, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm playing house music, and they go, can you play some house music? I go, like what house music? And then they'll give you some 90s top 40 stuff,
yeah.
right? You know, they want snap.
Yeah.
You know, and you go,
Right.
oh, right, okay, so you want pop music, cool. Yeah. With a dancey beat, you know.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Pop music that's between 120 and 126 beats per minute. Happy days,
Yeah.
right?
Alright.
Yeah. Move on. It's hard for DJs
Yeah.
to find some good new music too
Yeah.
when things are listed wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I might be sitting there and go, I do want progressive house. I go and look at Beatport's progressive house. Most of it's not progressive house.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, no. But I could be looking maybe in the raw, deep trance section
And the you
and
just
find some absolute gold.
Yeah.
But you know, who's got time to sit there and
go through every
go
genre.
through every genre?
Yeah.
PROG is bullshit.
You you know this genre called indie dance?
Indie dance,
Yeah,
yeah.
what I a couple of sets I recorded. I bought the tracks on Beatport. It was classified as indie dance.
Yeah.
And then I just called my set a progressive house set. How off or wrong was I? You think?
I mean, you progressed it.
Because that's what kind of I associate. In my mind, I was associating that with progressive house because I guess I heard some progressive house. Maybe that sounded similar, or someone told me it was progressive house, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't know what indie dance means, so I just
I mean, years ago,
Didn't feel like progressive.
indie dance would have been Primal Scream,
Yeah.
Soup Dragons, that sort of.
I don't know them, so it doesn't kind of tell me.
Yeah, okay, so there's a
you
problem.
gotta
They're-
do a
that's
visual
a
sound.
proper band playing with
right.
electronic instruments.
Yeah.
So they might have had a drum machine and a synth, but they've also got a guitar and a singer, usually.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, but
That's
then
the
it
sort of
wasn't
stuff.
an indie dance that was mixing. There was no one.
no,
Could have been
could have
progressive,
been,
bro,
yeah.
but like they put it as indie dance because
Yeah.
like maybe there was an indie instrument happening in there.
Yeah,
Or-
it is a
or-
bit like more tribal kind of. Like,
Or they think they've
Yeah.
got more chance of getting a higher charting rate
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
indie dance
Yeah.
than they do
And like
going
the main-
into progressive trance or psytrance or whatever it might have been.
So
you know.
at the end of the day, it is what someone called it.
It
to
is,
be,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Totally.
a bunch of people just followed that. That's it, and then in their mind, that is that
That's it.
indie
Yeah.
dance or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So it's so confusing, isn't it?
We should just like change the whole genre and put it experimental for all of it.
yeah. Oh, progressive.
Progressive experimental.
Yeah. Or we can just normal experimental, then experimental progressive, or progressive experimental. Yeah.
Either way, your subgenres are coming.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the
Starting
roar
already.
of the one as well.
So yeah, it's and Beatport. Yeah, it's not also a lot of music popularity suddenly is being measured by Beatport. You know, kind of
Yep.
lately. That's another kind of issue, isn't it? Music. Well, I guess you could take into account two measures. I guess the Beatport, how much DJs buy that music,
Yeah.
and then streams on other platforms in
Yeah.
terms of how many people actually listen to music.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Look, you look at the current Beatport top 10. I got the Peggy Gow and the Fisher track sent to me 2 weeks before they were released, and pretty much on the day they were released, they were number 1 and 2 in Beatport.
Yeah, man.
How's that work?
Yeah.
That to me, that's just they're paying
And how it
someone.
works, like I've worked in a label company and we used to do it like to some of our tracks, and you pay like basically companies that boost your track to come up just for advertisement.
Yep.
That's purely for advertisement. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to do it,
That's
Talk to the label owner.
can you hook me up?
Links, it's honestly it's just for the show to so we rank number 2. It used to be based on sales. So whenever I used to get the summary chart of each track that I sold, it said I've done 36 sales, done this much. That's
Yep.
why the ranking was here, and it was realistic ranking. It was 24 or 56. I mean, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
there's millions of music produced
Producers out there,
every day. But right now it's because you want to promote it, you put it in top 10 because you as a DJ, as you said, you just gotta check some top 10s. You want to quickly take something
quickly
that
look,
everyone likes, top 10, right?
Yep.
So that's how you promote your track. That's how you get to know Fisher, who Fisher is.
I don't know. Do you want to take top 10? That's
No.
It's not how I don't even look at the charts. Really, I don't do that.
Not you, but
I
DJs.
guess I will be soon once.
If you have to prepare really quickly and let's say you got a gig and they said they want dance music, but they actually meant something else.
Yep.
So you go to Beatport, you're like, oh, I need the top 10 of that so I can play this thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how you get it. Usually I'm not even going to Beatport a lot of the times. I listen to Bandcamp and I'll follow
Yeah.
follow them on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And if I don't have the track, I'll buy it from Beatport like wait for
Beatport is where I usually go first.
Yeah, I support the artists like by buying it from like those platforms.
Yep.
But if I see it on Bandcamp as well, I'll buy it there.
It's just something like on Bandcamp sometimes either not available at all,
Yeah.
or it's like takes a while for it to be like it will be exclusive on Beatport for a while before it
Yes.
gets released. And if you wanna like buy it straight
gotta
away,
pre-order
you
it.
gotta.
Yeah, so I found that with the label, Get Funk label from Australia, they did a pre-release on TrackSource
Yeah.
for a week
Yeah,
before
yeah.
it was available on Beatport. And then I knew people who go, I don't want to buy from TrackSource because it costs more or something, I don't know. And it was like,
GSDs.
yeah, whatever. Just buy my track. I want a cup of coffee, And but it's a hard one, and especially when you look at the quality of some of the music now,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Decent.
well.
Yeah, what do you listen to, Nigel?
Some of this new stuff, certainly not. But, yeah,
Some is not, but some is.
some of it is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the best track I've checked on Beatport, and I think this was out of pure utter laziness, it was just a kick drum for 6 minutes.
It sounds like the top 10 you're listening to. Yeah.
Man, honestly, it was kick drum for 8 minutes, and like I think the guy forgot just soloed the kick drum channel, and he didn't check the track. They just posted online, and I was like flicking through, and it was like 8 minutes. Just I could see the waveform. It's just kick
There's
drum. I'm
nothing
like,
else.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I
No.
like it. I did 3 releases on my SoundCloud when they released the artist feature, and it's pretty cool features that it has actually. Gives you featured pages that you can have. So if you have like multiple names, you can
Yep.
feature it in one channel. You could have like a hover like website that whoever clicks on your like name goes to your website, and you can distribute your tracks through SoundCloud. So you basically can distribute it through YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, every digital platform.
Yeah.
You see the stats and you can promote it inside there, and you initially don't it just makes it more independent, so you don't have to approach to a label saying like,
Yeah,
here's my
okay,
track.
yep.
You could actually release it on your own. So I feel like a lot of the companies like SoundCloud and that they're trying to encourage artists to have their own label,
Yes.
be more
Yeah.
independent, so that with the features that they have rather than going to a like label. Because I knew like for me releasing tracks, I have like 4 tracks on release, but I'm waiting for the schedule because labels have like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
artists that they
Yep.
schedule for release. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna release it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I could do it right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yep.
So I feel like a lot of them give you that like opportunity for a lot of artists to like be independent in that sense. And like with SoundCloud, I did 3 releases and I was pretty happy with it. I wasn't like expecting a big result, but like I saw how it works and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
But again, there is probably a monetary reason behind that. They want to get the fees commissioned directly from maybe better commission from the artists rather than from labels.
well, you don't get any they don't get any commission. That's the part. So when you fill the form to distribute it for like your music, you have explicitity. So if there is 2 artists involved, you could like split the payment between
Yeah,
you
okay.
and him,
Yeah.
and it's 100% for you. So everything that you distribute, all royalties, everything goes for you. The only thing SoundCloud takes is just like the subscription,
The
that you
subscription
pay
that you
for
pay,
the
yep.
features. That's it.
Well, maybe that more subscriptions better for them. I mean,
Yeah,
more subscription-
totally.
subscription
Absolutely,
service.
yeah. I mean, like,
What I hate about SoundCloud is that if you have the pro account and I don't have a pro account, and when I listen to the tracks on your account, I still get the advertising,
Yeah.
which it shouldn't be. If you paid, your tracks should be listened without ads. You
but
know?
how do you get ads? You haven't bought the pro like badge up, like
Yeah, I don't have that. That's another thing. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
new.
buying a pro
Yeah.
SoundCloud. I have to. So if I have a new set, I'll have to delete one of the older ones to upload a
Yeah.
new set. And I don't
Yeah.
really. Why do I need SoundCloud when I have YouTube?
Yeah,
So
true.
it's
True.
not really point for me to have.
Well, that's another thing. It's like there's so many platforms now that you
Exactly.
like which one I
Yeah.
should choose. Like that one's Spotify, the one SoundCloud, YouTube.
And that's the thing too. That like the algorithms, like Spotify, you might go and say listen to one of your tracks, and then it'll think
it's similar to
you need
this
to
one.
listen to some of these tracks.
Yeah.
And then whatever's in that pecking order of Spotify, all of a sudden you get forced to listen to those tracks,
Yeah.
whether you like them or not,
Yeah.
or whether they're the same or not.
Yes.
And that's
Sometimes it could be good.
Sometimes it could be
I
good.
found some bloody gems that way.
Exactly.
You know?
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's like, whoa, what am I listening to?
I mean, life is like that too. You
Yeah.
can't have it all the time.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. No, but I like that about Spotify. That it's it could like give you occasionally like some.
Some
Yeah,
real
good
good
gems, yeah.
I
tracks.
actually
Yep.
use Spotify to find new artists quite a bit. I like the feature that you can click like there's an artist name, and if there's a collaboration track, you can just go to that artist
Yeah.
away, have a
Yes,
look, and
yeah,
so
see the
that's
different
how
people. Yep.
I go down the rabbit hole. I call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
PROG is bullshit.
But Milsey, you did a bit of prog in your so how do you think what is it? You're talking about prog, you're talking about progressive house.
Yeah.
That's prog too. Like,
I mean, look, progressive to me initially, it means like, you know, the sounds are progressing to get somewhere.
fuck it, yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's-
hilarious, mate. That's one of the funniest descriptions I've heard.
Like, every time, like as you mentioned it, like, you know, if I listen to a techno track, right, I know the structure of the techno track. I know there's gonna be a nice like short, like, you know, build up and then a kick and bass line, right? I know it coming. Progressive, I'm like, yeah, it's building up. I'm like, yeah, it's just gonna take off all the percussion. And it's like, no, I'm gonna bring the percussion, bitch, and it's just like, you know, just constantly going. So that's why I'm saying it's like it's just progressing to go somewhere, but you can't figure out where it's
Where you're
going.
gonna go. Yep.
Which is really handy when you're playing it in a set, because like, you know, a lot of the times when you play a set, if you especially play like, you know, the main sort of style, you kind of get bored. You're like, where is it going? It's just build up, drop, build up, drop. But when you have that progressive going in there, it's sort of like, you know, you're just going in a different world, and you're like, hang on, this is interesting. And then you bring it like, you know, main thing, you're like, oh hell yeah, this is sick. And then you play progressive and you're like, oh, let me just go talk to my friend for a second and see like, you know, where this is going. So that's the description I put. But I feel like, yeah, progressive for me, like I started like loving progressive, started with progressive. And it's one of those genres that's like, you know, it's just...
So it's a genre?
It is a genre, yeah.
A prog is a genre. We got prog house, prog, so it's like
progressive.
It takes
Just
beats from all the genres, and it's all prog.
That's
right. So there could be like a couple of prog metal tracks in it, right? Potentially.
Have you heard progressive metal? It's actually sick.
Well, I
Progressive indie dance.
Yeah.
So he told us.
Yeah.
You know what? You need to have a progressive solid professor. just like progressive.
Well, I was gonna get some Prog Is Bullshit t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's just the same. So like, yeah, that's amazing. Like,
But yeah, progressive. It's not a genre by itself, but it's like an add-on, like, you know,
to every genre.
Yeah, to every genre, to keep it like, you know, interesting and more like, you know, to add more variety to it. So progressive could be, as you said, progressive indie dance, progressive rock, progressive like, you know, drum and bass, all of that. Progressive initially is like subtracting the essence of that genre and just going to different branches and like, you know, exploring in that area.
Have you ever been to like played a gig where someone told you, like Nigel said an example, he was playing house and someone asked him to play house. Has that ever happened to you with prog, or that there was some misunderstanding between you and promoter as to what the fuck you were supposed to be playing?
A lot of the times, yeah. A lot of the times I had that issue, and they're like, we thought you play progressive trance. I'm like, no, that's tech trance. It's completely different.
Tech trance?
Yeah,
Really?
tech trance, yeah.
I've never heard. about that?
The tech trance was like, I was like really into it when I was like 17, 18 years old. And it was initially like, hard techno mixed with like, trance music. So it's like the hard beat of the techno drum going, and then there's a breakdown, and then as trance says, like it was melodical trance, like, with arpeggiators coming back to the same, like, techno.
But that's the evolution of music.
Yeah.
You go to, if you go back to the early 90s in Ibiza, for instance, and trance was a big thing.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden techno sort of came in, so you had this sort of tech trance type
sort
stuff,
of,
and then there was a crossover into more sort of commercialized dance music.
Yeah.
And then when it became more popular, there was all these different
genres
things happened, and so you're never really sure.
Yeah. I think there's one genre that I regret existing is big room. I don't know why that came out.
Which
big
genre?
room.
Big room, yeah.
So it's like it's unnecessary genre. That's just
I think what I should do in the future podcasts is there are a few sites that have like lists of the genres of music. And
you need a screen with the Beatport page
I
on
actually,
it. You need a bigger lens on the camera though to fit them all.
No,
in,
it's actually what I want to do is I actually want to have like record the screen, or like have a laptop here and have a screen recording going, and like if we need to look up something,
that would
just
be cool.
go, and it's just sometimes it requires a lot more preparation.
Yes.
So just gotta set it up once, I think, and then it'll be just put the laptop.
But you'll find you'll do a show one week, and then the next week there'll be 5 new genres come out.
Yeah,
because I think it was only the other week.
And
there was a deep trance thing on Beatport.
Deep trance, yeah.
Deep
hypnotic trance.
Hypnotic melodic trance. And you're like going, righto.
Yeah, that was like a new thing that Beatport changed. Like, recently I checked it too, and I was like, I honestly thought like the genre was like smaller, but it just got to a massive like screen. I'm like, fuck, okay. I like the fact that it's detailed, don't get me wrong, because me as an artist and like, listening to music a lot, I can pinpoint the style quite like easily. So I would appreciate it if it's like, like all detailed, saying like what it actually is. So if I want to play something like that, I could go to that genre. But like, it's just, if you want to like, have deep hypnotic and like, all of them mixed together as one, maybe you should just like, extend that to all of it, what I mean? It should be like, going to trance, and then you select the trance, it says side trance, tech trance, like,
exactly.
break trance.
Exactly.
All the genres that's like, for trance.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same a couple of years ago. I was asked to do a mixtape for a beach club in Croatia.
Yeah.
And they wanted deep house.
Yeah.
Mellow, sort of deep, chilled vibes. So, okay, deep house, cool. But you look at deep house, some of it you're like, that's not deep at all.
No.
I'm thinking, sun's out, people on the beach, they're just sort of, swaying from side to side, enjoying it, tapping their feet, jumping in the pool.
Having a good time.
Get into it, whoa, that's not deep at all. But, unfortunately that is the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
In the music industry. Yeah. You so many different people come up with different things.
Yeah.
Garage, for instance, when I used to play garage music, it was more the soulful house, the vocal house, that sort of disco vibe. That was classed as garage. And then this two-step came along, which then took over the garage label. And you're like, that's not garage. That's garage. So,
So I guess we say the genres evolve, but it's not the genres that evolve. It's like what we call
what someone calls it. Yeah, someone comes up with it and goes, I'm going to call it this.
And then the
it's
rest.
someone experimenting and then saying, this is what I'm going to call it. And then like, voila, that new genre became a thing.
I'm the first one in this genre. So what's your new genre? Is it Nilsy Pro?
PROG is bullshit.
Or something like that.
Man, I would love PROG is bullshit to be a genre.
Yeah, just call it bullshit.
PROG is bullshit. It's like all the sickest tunes in there. Like you're like, what? There should be more bullshit in this genre.
In every genre.
Like, yeah, it's bullshit trance, bullshit
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. But guys, by the way, you haven't actually commented on anything. You're like, yeah.
You know, I'm not doing that because it's actually like
Cheers.
so.
It is very tasty. Yeah. Cheers.
It's so tasty. Like, I'm actually surprised that you filled it up again. I was like, yeah.
Why wouldn't I? I tend to get like I noticed while editing the podcasts after working, like. I'm like the one who drinks the most usually. Like, sometimes by the end of the podcast, you can be like quite tipsy.
Misha's like,
well, if you watch behind the scenes of episode 9, I actually had to. There was a moment where I had to like get up and basically spew around. Things like that happened. That's me spew.
She put an advertisement music. Yeah. Prog is bullshit. Prog is bullshit.
Yeah, I think we were drinking absinthe at the time. Ran out of gin, and absinthe
you
was
fell
the only one. Yeah, so there's absinthe, but there is also this what is it? Apple Jack that they make.
Man, you won't believe my first ever alcohol I tried was absinthe.
Really?
Yeah.
So
and I always wanted to try it because of that movie. What was it called when they go to Europe? And they had a bunch of I think it was called Eurotrip. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
It's a bunch of like kids just going to Europe, and then like they go to this part of tiny town in Europe, and all the 1 cents they had worth like billions or something. So they threw this cents to this guy, and they're in the hotel like having all the champagne and everything, and they go to the club and they're like, what's the most expensive alcohol we could get with like 1 cent? And they give him absinthe. Drinking the absinthe, they're like hallucinating. I'm like, is that for real? I want to try it.
I wanted to like the first there was a movie with Johnny Depp called From Hell.
Yeah.
About the Johnny Reaper, like this sort of the in old England, and he was like drinking absinthe there, and apparently was having some hallucinations.
Yeah.
You probably gotta bloody be on the floor like before you can have any bloody hallucinations. So yeah, it's.
When I taste nice, like I like the taste of
yeah,
absinthe.
I don't like that. Pretty rough.
Yeah.
So you produce any prog?
Yeah. I've started producing progressive stuff. So I used to do progressive house and progressive trance when I was like younger. My first alias was Melamda. Coming from taking it from my name, everyone used to call me Melamda. And my first project, all I did was progressive house and progressive trance. So it was initially just like melodic stuff, going for 12-minute track. And when I was producing then, I didn't have that much knowledge of EQs and all of it. It was more just putting the sounds. And then I really got into it. And then moved on to tech trance and explored different things, because I was I want to combine the genres and see what I can come up with and what can I do. And tech trance sort of I like techno and trance, so I mixed them too. And then as I grew older, progressive became my favorite thing again, which is why I created my alias NVU, because I wanted to explore the progressive side of techno again, because I've done the trance and all of that, but the techno side of it's I don't know, it's pretty groovy. I love the grooves that I come up with, and for the progressive types. So I've been producing a lot. I've had 2 progressive ones that's actually going to be released on a Hush Hush label. But
is it the name of the label? Hush Hush label. So actually, NVU is a progressive project.
NVU, it's there is a subtract of progressive in it, but it's mainly focused on going through techno, the element techno, and just bringing psychedelic and progressive, mix the two together. And especially psychedelic stuff, when I mix it with any type of prog, it's just it's insane. And adding the element of those techno elements on top, it just gives that new genre a life sort of, and I feel like it's become like pretty popular. Like everywhere I go, I can hear that sound. It's just progressing.
Progressive is
Nicely
progressive,
done.
right? That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like, everyone's sort of like taking it on board,
Yeah.
like on their music. But
And everything. Yes, prog is like a disease. It's like it's spread around everything and everyone.
Prog 19.
Yeah, I was gonna say the next time you put a mask on is to get rid of progressive.
Prog 19.
You'll be putting earplugs in. I want to get rid of like this. Everyone, please. This is the issue. We're issuing the government order. Put the earplugs in. No more listening to progressive. I think we're coming up to the end of our podcast, guys. It's so that we're going to be almost like on the dot of 1 hour.
Hell yeah.
So I would like to take this opportunity to thank both of you for joining me today.
Thanks for
very,
inviting me.
interesting, cool discussions. I would have loved continue talking with you for another hour, but it's just then it's another 10 hours for me to edit, or 6 hours to edit,
Yeah.
So
just listen to some prog, bro. It's
I always do. All of my Spotify AI is already there. Only it gives me prog. I'm sweet. So again, thank you to you. Thank you to Poncho Fox. Thank you to everyone who is listening or watching. And prog is bullshit. Prog on.
I like that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Prog is bullshit.